Millionaire mocked the gardener for her poor flowers until a famous botanist offered $10 million for the secret species she created. But before we dive into the full story, let me know where you're watching from and what time it is. Now, subscribe to the channel and let's get started. I'm pregnant, Blake. Maya's voice trembled as she stood in the middle of the expensive office, raindrops still clinging to her work jacket. Blake Thompson froze, his hand suspended midway through signing a document. He slowly put down his pen and looked up at her. "What did you just say?" "I'm pregnant. The test came back positive yesterday. I did 3 more tests this morning to be sure." Blake rose from his desk and walked to the window overlooking the Seattle skyline. Rain tapped against the glass, matching the heavy silence filling the room. After 6 months of secretly dating the owner of Thompson Estate, Maya Johnson had hoped for a different reaction. "Pregnant? Are you absolutely sure?" Blake finally asked, his back still turned to her. "Yes, I'm sure." Blake ran his fingers through his perfectly styled hair, messing it up for the first time Maya had ever seen. "This is not good timing, Maya. Not good at all. I know it's unexpected. The board meeting is next week," he interrupted, pacing the room now, "and I'm about to sign the Westfield contract. Do you understand what that means? $30 million. That's what's at stake here." Maya touched her stomach lightly. At 31 years old, she hadn't planned on becoming a mother yet, especially not like this. But since seeing those positive tests, something had shifted inside her. "I thought you should know," she said quietly. "I thought we could figure this out together." Blake stopped pacing and stared at her with cold eyes Maya had never seen before. "There's nothing to figure out." He walked back to his desk, pulled out his checkbook and began writing. The scratching of his pen was the only sound in the room for 30 seconds. "Here," he said, ripping out the check and holding it toward her. $20,000. This should be enough for you to start over somewhere else. Somewhere far from Seattle." Maya didn't take the check. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying you need to disappear, Maya." Blake's voice was businesslike now. "My investors won't like this scandal. A CEO dating the gardener? Having a baby with her? It's bad for business." "Bad for business?" Maya repeated, her voice barely above a whisper. "Is that all this is to you? A business problem? Be realistic. We had fun, but this was never going to be permanent. You work for me? You tend my gardens?" "I love you," Maya said, the words falling from her lips before she could stop them. Blake sighed, looking annoyed. "Take the check, Maya. $20,000 is generous. Most women would be grateful." Maya felt something crack inside her chest. She had spent the last 24 hours imagining their future together as parents. Now, in less than 5 minutes, that future had disappeared. "What about my job?" she asked. "You can't stay here. It would be uncomfortable for everyone." Blake placed the check on the edge of his desk. "Take it. This is the best solution." Maya stared at the check. $20,000. That was the price Blake Thompson had placed on her and their unborn child. "I need to get back to work," she said stiffly, turning toward the door without taking the check. "Maya," Blake called after her, "don't make this difficult. Take the money." She left without answering, walking through the mansion with her head held high despite the tears threatening to spill. In the staff quarters where she had lived for the past 3 years, Maya sat on her bed and finally let the tears come. Her phone buzzed with a text message at 6:30 that evening. "Your position has been terminated effective immediately. Please remove all personal belongings from staff quarters by 12 noon tomorrow." Maya read the message 3 times, unable to believe how quickly her life had fallen apart. In one day, she had lost her boyfriend, the father of her child, her job, and now her home. The next week passed in a blur. Maya found a cheap motel room that rented by the week. She used most of her savings to pay for it, knowing she needed to find another job quickly. On Wednesday, she visited a free clinic for her first prenatal checkup. The doctor was a kind woman with gray hair and gentle hands. "Let's take a look," she said, moving the ultrasound wand over Maya's stomach. She paused, looking more closely at the screen. "Oh my. Is something wrong?" Maya asked, panic rising in her throat. The doctor smiled. "Nothing's wrong, but I'm seeing multiple heartbeats here." She turned the screen so Maya could see. "Congratulations, Ms. Johnson. You're expecting triplets." Triplets, 3 babies. Maya felt the room spin around her. That afternoon she sat on a bench in Lincoln Park, rain soaking through her coat. She didn't bother to open her umbrella. The cold droplets matched her tears as she tried to make sense of her situation. 3 babies. No job. No home. No partner. Maya opened her purse and counted her money. $743. That was all she had left in the world. Next to her money was her grandmother's journal, filled with handwritten notes about rare medicinal plants. Maya had been secretly growing some of these plants in a hidden corner of Blake's garden, fascinated by their healing properties. Her grandmother had been known in her community for her natural remedies, knowledge she had passed down to Maya. Before security had escorted her off the Thompson estate, Maya had managed to collect seeds and cuttings from her special plants. They were carefully wrapped in damp paper towels in her motel room. Rain dripped from her hair as Maya looked up at the gray Seattle sky. "You think we're nothing," she whispered, as if Blake could hear her. "But my children and I will prove our worth. And one day, you'll regret throwing us away." She placed her hand on her stomach, feeling a strange new determination rise inside her. The plants she had rescued might be worth something. Her grandmother had always said they had special healing powers that modern medicine hadn't yet discovered. Maya closed her eyes, feeling the rain on her face. This was the bottom. From here, there was nowhere to go but up. She had no idea then that the seeds in her motel room and the babies growing inside her would one day be worth billions, or that the man who had discarded them would one day beg to be part of their lives. Maya wiped the rain from her face and clutched her grandmother's journal to her chest. The sky had darkened and she needed to find somewhere to sleep. Her old Honda Civic sat in the parking lot, the one possession Blake hadn't taken from her. That night, Maya reclined the driver's seat as far as it would go in the Walmart parking lot. She had heard homeless people could stay overnight without being bothered. Every time headlights swept across her car, she tensed, wondering if security would knock on her window. "Just for tonight," she whispered to herself, rubbing her stomach gently. "Tomorrow we'll find something better." Sleep came in short bursts. By 5:30 in the morning, Maya gave up trying. She straightened her wrinkled clothes in the rearview mirror and drove to a gas station bathroom to wash her face and brush her teeth. "You can do this," she told her reflection. "You have to." Her first job interview was at 8 o'clock at an office building downtown. The manager glanced at her resume, impressed by her organizational skills from managing the Thompson Estate Gardens. Then his eyes dropped to her midsection. "When are you due?" he asked, his friendly tone suddenly cooler. "I'm in my first trimester," Maya answered honestly. "I see." He shuffled her resume to the bottom of a pile. "We'll be in touch." The same scene repeated 4 more times that day. At a clothing store, the manager was more direct. "We don't hire pregnant women," she said. "The maternity leave is too disruptive." By late afternoon, Maya sat in her car, exhausted and hungry. She opened her phone and searched "Help for Pregnant Women Seattle." A listing for Hope Haven Women's Shelter appeared. With nowhere else to go, Maya drove to the address in a neighborhood she'd never visited before. The building was plain but clean, with a small sign by the door. Maya hesitated before ringing the bell. A middle-aged woman with kind eyes opened the door. "Can I help you?" she asked. "I hope so," Maya said, her voice cracking. "I'm pregnant and I have nowhere to go." the woman introduced herself as Mrs. Garcia, the shelter director. She led Maya to a small office and listened as Maya explained her situation, leaving out the part about Blake being a millionaire. "You poor thing," Mrs. Garcia said. "We have a room available. It's small, but it's clean and safe." The room was indeed tiny, just enough space for a single bed, a nightstand, and a small dresser. But it had a window, and Maya nearly cried at the sight of the clean sheets. "Dinner is at 6 o'clock in the communal kitchen," Mrs. Garcia explained. "You'll meet the other women then. Bathroom is shared at the end of the hall." At dinner, Maya sat quietly, picking at her food. A woman with short blonde hair sat across from her. "First night?" she asked. Maya nodded. "I'm Tanya, been here 3 months. It gets easier." "I'm Maya. I never thought I'd end up in a shelter." "None of us did, honey." Tanya looked at Maya's stomach. "How far along?" "About 8 weeks, but I just found out I'm having triplets." Tanya's eyes widened. "Triple trouble. Girl, you need help with paperwork, government assistance, food stamps, pregnancy health care. I'll show you tomorrow." The next morning, Tanya helped Maya fill out complicated forms for government assistance. "These questions are confusing on purpose," Tanya explained, her fingers stiff with arthritis as she pointed to each section. "They hope you'll give up." By the end of the week, Maya had received her first food stamps card and approval for pregnancy health care. But she still needed income. She applied at a 24-hour grocery store 10 blocks from the shelter. Mr. Jenkins, the night manager, was a heavy-set man with a gray mustache. He looked over her application and nodded. "Night shift is hard to fill. You got experience with cash registers?" "No, but I learn quickly," Maya said. "Midnight to 8 a.m., 5 nights a week. Can you handle that while pregnant?" "I'll manage," Maya promised, desperately needing the job. Her first shift was exhausting. Her feet ached, and morning sickness hit her around 3 a.m. Mr. Jenkins noticed her discomfort and brought her a stool. "Store policy says cashiers stand," he said, placing the stool behind her register. "But what corporate doesn't see won't hurt them." 2 weeks later, Maya received her first paycheck, $427. She carefully placed $20 in an envelope marked Savings and hid it under her mattress. That weekend, Maya planted her grandmother's special seeds in small pots she had found at a dollar store. She placed them on the narrow windowsill in her room, where sunlight streamed in for a few hours each day. At night, Maya read her grandmother's journal, studying the detailed notes about each plant's healing properties. She began taking notes in a separate notebook, creating her own reference guide. "This one reduces inflammation," she whispered, touching the soil of one pot. "And this one helps with skin regeneration." As her stomach began to show more, Maya found herself talking to her babies. "I think I'll name you after flowers," she said one night, her hand resting on her growing bump. "Lily, Rose, and Violet. My beautiful garden." Mrs. Garcia noticed Maya's interest in plants and showed her the shelter's small computer lab. "We offer free computer time. Some women take online courses to improve their job prospects." Maya began spending her free hours between sleep and work, taking free online business classes. She learned about creating business plans, basic accounting, and marketing strategies. In a notebook, she sketched ideas for a plant-based healing company. "My grandmother helped so many people with her remedies," she told Tanya. "Maybe I could do the same." "Dream big," Tanya encouraged, "but also be practical. Those babies are coming, ready or not." Maya looked at her small collection of growing plants, her notebook full of business ideas, and placed her hand on her stomach. "We'll make it," she promised her unborn children. "Somehow, we'll make it." Maya had no idea that in her tiny shelter room, with borrowed pots holding precious seeds and a notebook filled with dreams, she was planting the roots of a business that would one day become an empire. But first, she would have to face the most difficult months of her life as her pregnancy progressed and her body struggled to nurture 3 growing lives. As the weeks passed, Maya's pregnancy advanced rapidly. At 8 months pregnant with triplets, her body felt impossibly heavy. Her ankles swelled during each shift at the grocery store, and her back ached constantly. The midnight to 8 a.m. schedule became harder to endure with each passing night. "How are you holding up?" Mr. Jenkins asked during her break one night. Maya shifted uncomfortably on the break room chair. "I'm okay." "You don't look okay," he said, concern evident in his voice. "You look exhausted." "I need this job," Maya said simply. "The babies will be here soon." On a particularly busy night, Maya stood at Register 3, scanning groceries for a late-night customer. The store lights seemed unusually bright and strange spots danced in her vision. She gripped the edge of the counter as the floor seemed to tilt beneath her. "Ma'am, are you all right?" the customer asked. Maya opened her mouth to respond, but no words came out. The spots in her vision grew larger until darkness swallowed everything. She woke to the sound of sirens and Mr. Jenkins's worried face hovering above her. "Don't try to move," he said. "The ambulance is here." "I can't afford an ambulance," Maya whispered. "The store will cover it," Mr. Jenkins assured her. "You collapsed. You need a doctor." At the hospital, a doctor with a serious expression examined Maya and monitored the triplets. "Ms. Johnson, your blood pressure is dangerously high," she explained, "and you're showing signs of early labor. I'm putting you on strict bed rest for the remainder of your pregnancy." "Bed rest?" Maya felt panic rising in her chest. "But I have to work. I need money for when the babies come." "If you don't rest, these babies will come too early," the doctor said firmly, "and that creates serious health risks for all 4 of you." Maya returned to the shelter in a taxi, her employment release papers clutched in her hand. In her tiny room, she sank onto the bed and finally allowed herself to cry. She had $52 saved, no income, and 3 babies who would arrive within weeks. "This is it," she sobbed into her pillow. "I've hit the bottom." Later that evening, as the sun set outside her window, Maya noticed something that made her sit up. Her plants had grown significantly in the past weeks. The seedlings she had rescued from Blake's garden were now flourishing in their small pots, some already showing the distinctive leaves her grandmother had described in her journal. A knock at the door interrupted her thoughts. Mrs. Garcia entered with a tray of food. "Tanya told me what happened," she said, placing the tray on the nightstand. "I'm sorry about your job." Maya wiped her tears. "I don't know what I'm going to do now." Mrs. Garcia sat on the edge of the bed. "There's a special program for pregnant women in crisis situations. It provides additional support until your babies are born and for 3 months after. I think you would qualify." "What kind of support?" "Financial assistance, diapers, formula, baby clothes. They even have volunteers who help with childcare so new mothers can look for work or attend school." Mrs. Garcia smiled. "I brought the application forms." The next morning, Maya completed the application with shaking hands. 3 days later, she received an acceptance letter. The program would provide enough support to get her through the birth and the first months with her babies. With her days now empty, Maya focused on 2 things: studying business and botany online and experimenting with her plants. Following her grandmother's recipes, she used leaves from her plants to make a simple cream. Tanya visited Maya's room one afternoon, her hands clearly bothering her. "Your arthritis looks painful today," Maya observed. Tanya nodded, her face tight with discomfort. "Weather's changing. Makes my joints flare up something awful." Maya reached for a small jar on her windowsill. "I made this cream from my plants. It might help. My grandmother used to make it for people in our neighborhood." Tanya looked skeptical but took the jar. "Can't hurt to try, I guess." She rubbed a small amount of the cream on her swollen knuckles. "Smells nice, at least." The next morning, Tanya burst into Maya's room, her eyes wide. "What was in that cream you gave me?" Maya sat up in bed, alarmed. "Why? Did it cause a reaction?" "A reaction? Girl, my hands haven't felt this good in years. The swelling is half what it was, and I can bend my fingers without wanting to scream." Tanya held up her hands, moving her fingers freely. "This is miracle stuff." Word spread quickly through the shelter. By the end of the week, 3 other women had asked Maya if they could try her cream for various aches and pains. All reported significant relief. "You should sell this," said an older woman named Dorothy, who had used the cream on her arthritic knee. "I'd pay good money for something that works this well." Mrs. Garcia visited Maya's room later that day and noticed the line of small jars on the windowsill. "I've been hearing about your healing cream," she said. "Everyone's talking about it." Maya smiled, her hand resting on her enormous belly. "My grandmother's recipes really work. I knew they would." Mrs. Garcia picked up one of the jars, examining it. "Have you considered turning this into a business? After the babies come, of course." "Actually, I have," Maya admitted. "I've been taking online business courses. I think these plants could help a lot of people." "The shelter has a program to help women start small businesses," Mrs. Garcia explained. "Microloans, business mentors, even help with permits and regulations." For the first time in weeks, Maya felt a spark of hope. She looked at her plants, then at her notebook filled with business ideas, and finally at her rounded stomach, home to 3 lives depending on her. "I think I might have found our way forward," she said softly. That night, Maya continued reading her grandmother's journal, making more detailed notes about each plant's properties. As she worked, she felt a strong kick from inside her belly, then another, then a third. "I know," she whispered to her unborn daughters. "We're going to be okay. Better than okay." She didn't know then that in just a few short weeks, her life would change forever with the arrival of 3 tiny girls who would become her strength, her purpose, and eventually her business partners in an empire that would transform medicine. Maya's hopeful mood lasted exactly 3 more days. On a rainy Tuesday morning, she woke to a sharp pain that made her gasp. Her bedsheets were wet, her water had broken, 4 weeks earlier than the doctor had predicted. "Mrs. Garcia!" Maya called, panic rising in her voice. "Mrs. Garcia!" The shelter director rushed in, took one look at Maya, and immediately called an ambulance. "It's too early," Maya said, gripping her stomach as another pain hit. "They're not supposed to come yet." "Babies have their own schedules," Mrs. Garcia said, gathering Maya's hospital bag. "Everything will be okay." The labor lasted 20 hours. 20 hours of pain unlike anything Maya had ever experienced. Nurses moved around her, checking monitors and speaking in urgent voices about fetal distress and emergency procedures. "I can't do this," Maya cried after 15 hours, exhausted beyond measure. An older nurse with kind eyes held her hand. "Yes, you can. Women have been doing this since the beginning of time. Your body knows what to do." At 3:17 in the morning, Lily Johnson was born, weighing 4 pounds and 6 ounces. At 3:21, Rose followed at 4 pounds even. At 3:29, Violet completed the trio, the smallest at 3 pounds and 15 ounces. The doctor placed the tiny wrapped bundle that was Lily in Maya's arms first. "She's small but strong," he said. "All 3 of them are fighters." Maya looked down at the tiny red face. "Hello, Lily," she whispered. "I'm your mom." The first weeks passed in a blur of exhaustion. The babies stayed in the hospital for 14 days until they gained enough weight to go home. Maya slept on a chair beside their incubators, returning to the shelter only to shower and change clothes. Back at Hope Haven, the reality of caring for 3 newborns hit hard. Maya barely slept. When one baby settled, another would wake hungry or needing a change. Dark circles formed under her eyes, and she lost track of days. "You need help," Tanya said one morning, finding Maya crying as all 3 babies wailed at once. "I can't afford help," Maya said, her voice breaking. "You have us," Tanya replied, picking up Rose and rocking her. "The shelter women will take shifts." A rotation system formed. Different women would watch the babies for 2-hour blocks, giving Maya time to sleep or shower. Mrs. Garcia allowed Maya to stay beyond the shelter's usual 3-month limit, seeing how she struggled. When the triplets were 6 weeks old, Maya started making small batches of healing cream again. She worked while the babies napped, mixing ingredients according to her grandmother's recipes. "I'm going to the Capitol Hill Farmers Market this weekend," she told Mrs. Garcia. "They have a small vendor fee. I've saved enough to rent a space." "Who will watch the babies?" Mrs. Garcia asked. "I was hoping you might," Maya said hesitantly. "Just for 4 hours on Saturday. I've pumped extra milk and prepared bottles." That Saturday, Maya set up a small table at the farmer's market. She had 20 jars of cream, each labeled by hand. Her stand was simple, just a card table with a sign reading "Healing Plant Remedies, $10." By noon, she had sold half her inventory. By 2 o'clock, she was completely sold out. A woman in her 50s approached as Maya was packing up. "Do you have any more of that cream?" she asked. "My friend bought one and said it really helped her wrist pain." "I'm sorry, I'm sold out," Maya replied. "But I'll be back next week with more." The woman introduced herself as Dr. Sarah Collins, a research scientist at the University of Washington. "My mother has severe arthritis. I'd like to buy a jar for her if you'll be here next Saturday." The following weekend, Dr. Collins returned. She bought a jar of cream and gave Maya her business card. "Call me if you make more. My mother will definitely want some." 3 weeks later, Maya's phone rang. It was Dr. Collins. "Ms. Johnson, this is Sarah Collins. I need to talk to you about your cream." Maya's heart sank. "Is something wrong? Did it cause a reaction?" "Wrong? No, absolutely not. My mother's arthritis pain decreased by 70% after 3 days of use. I've never seen anything like it." Dr. Collins paused. "I work in pharmaceutical research. I'd like to test the compounds in your cream if you're willing." Dr. Collins arranged for Maya to bring samples to her lab at the university. With the triplets now 3 months old, Maya brought them along in a triple stroller. Dr. Collins seemed charmed by the babies, tickling Violet's cheek as she showed Maya around the lab. "I tested the initial sample," Dr. Collins explained. "The anti-inflammatory properties are remarkable, stronger than anything currently on the market." "What exactly is in this formula?" "Plants my grandmother grew," Maya said. "The main ingredient comes from a flower that's not commonly used in Western medicine." 2 weeks later, Dr. Collins called again, excitement clear in her voice. "The results are confirmed. Your plant extract has unique properties that could revolutionize pain treatment. Have you considered starting a real business with this?" "I've thought about it," Maya admitted, "but I need startup money." "You need a business loan," Dr. Collins said, "and I can help you apply." With Dr. Collins' guidance, Maya prepared a business plan. They visited 5 banks together, but each one rejected Maya's application. "They see a single mother with no business experience," Dr. Collins fumed after the 5th rejection. "They're not seeing the potential." "What now?" Maya asked, adjusting rows in her carrier. "There's a women-owned credit union downtown. They specialize in loans for female entrepreneurs. Let's try them." The credit union loan officer, a woman named Brenda Mills, reviewed Maya's application carefully. She tested the cream on her own dry skin during the interview, raising her eyebrows as it absorbed quickly, leaving her skin soft. "This is impressive," Brenda said, "and Dr. Collins' test results are compelling. I think we can approve a $15,000 startup loan." Maya couldn't believe her ears. "Really? Really? Women need to support each other. What will you call your company?" Maya smiled. "Nature Cure Botanicals." With the loan, Maya rented a small commercial space that could serve as both production lab and office. She designed simple labels for her products and bought proper equipment for making larger batches. When the triplets turned 6 months old, Maya was able to rent a 1-bedroom apartment. It was small, just big enough for a living room with a pull-out couch for her, and a bedroom with 3 cribs lined up against the wall, but it was clean, safe, and most importantly, it was theirs. The night they moved in, Maya sat on her pull-out couch watching her daughters sleep in their room. For the first time in almost a year, she had her own space, a growing business, and a sense of purpose. The plants that Blake Thompson had mocked were now the foundation of her new life. Maya had no idea that night, as she drifted off to sleep, that her small company would one day grow into a business empire worth billions, or that her tiny daughters would become powerful women in their own right. She only knew that they had taken their first step forward together. 3 years passed quickly. Maya stood in her small lab, carefully measuring plant extracts for her newest formula. At 34 years old, she now had 5 different healing creams, each designed to treat specific conditions. Her original anti-inflammatory cream remained the best seller, but her nerve pain formula was gaining popularity. "Mommy, look what I drew!" 3-year-old Violet held up a colorful scribble. "That's beautiful, sweetie," Maya said, placing her measuring cup down. "Is that our house?" "No, it's the plants, the special ones." In the corner of the lab, all 3 triplets played on a colorful mat surrounded by educational toys. They had spent most of their young lives in this space, watching their mother work. "Lily, please don't eat the crayons," Maya called out, noticing her oldest daughter by 4 minutes with a purple crayon near her mouth. "I'm not eating it," Lily said. "I'm smelling it. It smells like your purple plant." Maya smiled. Even at 3, Lily showed a surprising interest in the scientific aspects of the business. Rose, the middle triplet, was stacking blocks in perfect rows, creating what looked like a tiny warehouse. The door chimed as Tom Parker entered. At 68, the retired pharmacist had become Maya's first employee 6 months earlier, helping with production and quality control. "Morning, ladies," Tom greeted, hanging his coat on the rack. "The new shipment of bottles arrived." "Thank you for coming in early," Maya said, handing him her notes. "This is the new skin repair formula. Can you help me prepare 20 jars for the Natural Health Store order?" Tom reviewed her measurements, nodding. "Looks good. You've increased the aloe concentration." As they worked, Maya shared her frustration. "We need to get into more stores, Tom. Farmers markets and 3 local health stores aren't enough. But stores want inventory we can't produce yet, and we need money for that inventory." "It's the classic business catch," Tom agreed. "You need money to make money." The door chimed again. A well-dressed woman in her 40s entered, looking around curiously. "Can I help you?" Maya asked, wiping her hands on her apron. "I hope so. I'm looking for the owner of Nature Cure Botanicals." "That's me, Maya Johnson." The woman looked surprised. "You're younger than I expected. I'm Linda Peterson." Maya gestured to a small meeting area in the corner. "Please, sit down. Can I offer you tea?" "No, thank you. I'll get right to the point." Linda placed a business card on the table. "I'm the purchasing director for Regional Health Systems." Maya recognized the name, a large network of 50 medical clinics throughout Washington state. "My mother has severe arthritis," Linda continued. "Her doctor tried everything, but nothing helped much. Then her neighbor gave her your cream. After 2 weeks, my mother could knit again for the first time in years." "I'm so glad it helped her," Maya said, feeling a familiar sense of pride. "I brought her jar to our research department. They analyzed it and were impressed with the natural compound structure." Linda leaned forward. "I'd like to place an order for all 50 of our physical therapy departments." "That sounds wonderful," Maya said. "What quantity were you thinking?" "We need 100 jars for each clinic to start. That's 5,000 jars total." Maya quickly calculated in her head. "At $30 per jar wholesale, that's an order for $150,000, she said, barely able to say the number. "Is that a problem?" Linda asked. Maya looked around her small lab, at Tom working at the single production table, at her children playing in the corner. Currently, they produced about 300 jars per week. To be honest, Ms. Peterson, we don't have the capacity to fill an order that size right now. We're a very small operation. Linda studied Maya thoughtfully. How many employees do you have? Just Tom and myself. And those are your children? Maya nodded. My daughters. They're 3. You've created an extraordinary product here, Ms. Johnson. Our patients need it. Linda pulled out a checkbook. What if regional health systems paid half the order amount up front? Would that help you expand to meet our needs? Maya stared at her. You do that? It's good business. Your product works better than anything else we've found. Linda wrote a check for $75,000. We need the first 1,000 jars in 30 days, with the remaining 4,000 within 90 days. Can you do that with this advance? Maya's hand trembled as she took the check. Yes, we can do that. After Linda left, Maya sat in stunned silence. Did that just happen? Tom asked. I think it did. Maya looked at the check again. Tom, we need a bigger space, and more equipment, and staff. And you need to cash that check before she changes her mind, Tom said with a laugh. The next 4 weeks were a whirlwind. Maya found a larger facility, triple the size of her current lab. She purchased professional-grade mixing equipment, proper workstations, and a labeling machine. She hired 3 employees, a production assistant, a lab technician, and an office manager. Working day and night, they prepared the first 1,000 jars exactly on schedule. Maya personally delivered them to Regional Health Systems headquarters, the triplets accompanying her in their stroller. Perfect timing, Linda said, inspecting the shipment. Our clinics are excited to start using these. 2 weeks later, Linda called. The feedback is incredible. Patients are asking if they can buy the creams directly. Our physical therapists report faster recovery times. We want to double our next order. Can you handle it? Yes, Maya said confidently. We can handle it. That evening, Maya closed the new lab early. We're taking a special trip, she told her daughters as she helped them into their coats. Where are we going? Rose asked. To the zoo, Maya answered. To see the animals. Real animals, not just in books? Lily's eyes widened. Real animals, Maya confirmed. At the Woodland Park Zoo, the triplets squealed with delight at each exhibit. Maya bought them each a small stuffed animal, a lion for Lily, a monkey for Rose, and an elephant for Violet. As they watched the otters play, Maya felt a sense of accomplishment unlike anything she'd experienced before. For the first time since the triplets were born, she had taken them on an outing that wasn't related to work or necessity. Do you like the zoo? She asked them. It's the best day ever, Violet declared, hugging her elephant. Looking at her daughters' happy faces, Maya knew this was just the beginning. The Regional Health Systems order wasn't just a business opportunity. It was the first step toward the life she wanted to create for her children. 7 years later, Maya stood at the podium, scissors in hand, preparing to cut the ribbon on the new Nature Cure Botanicals headquarters building. At 10 years old, her daughters stood beside her, each wearing a dress in her namesake flower's color. Lily in white, Rose in pink, and Violet in purple. I want to thank everyone who believed in us, Maya said to the crowd of employees and local business leaders. 7 years ago, we were mixing creams in a tiny lab. Today, we're opening our own building with 50 employees and products that help people around the world. She handed the scissors to her daughters. Together, they cut the ribbon while cameras flashed. Inside the modern 3-story building, employees applauded as Maya led a tour. The first floor housed production facilities, the second contained offices and meeting rooms, and the third floor was dedicated to research and development. Mom, can I go see the lab? Lily asked eagerly. At 10, she already showed a remarkable interest in science, often reading college-level books about chemistry and botany. After the tour, Maya promised. Rose, do you have the visitor badges ready? Rose nodded seriously, handing Maya a stack of professionally printed badges. Even at her young age, Rose showed an exceptional head for business details and numbers. I made a welcome sign for the lobby, Violet announced, pointing to a colorful poster. The most outgoing of the triplets, Violet's creativity appeared in everything she touched. Later that afternoon, Maya sat in her new office with Jennifer Adams, the top corporate lawyer she had hired to protect Nature Cure's interests. "The patent application is progressing well," Jennifer said, reviewing documents. "Your plant compound is genuinely unique. Once approved, you'll have exclusive rights to it for 20 years. "That's a relief," Maya replied. "We've had 3 more acquisition offers this month." "Let me guess. They're getting higher?" Maya nodded. "The latest was for $50 million from Westwood Pharmaceuticals." "Are you tempted?" Jennifer asked. "Not at all. I didn't build this company to sell it." Maya stood and walked to the window overlooking the Seattle skyline. "These plants have been in my family for generations. I want to control how they're used, and I want my daughters to inherit the company someday." "Speaking of control," Jennifer said, pulling out another folder, "the Canadian distribution agreement needs your signature, and the European Union approval came through yesterday." Maya signed the documents, still amazed at how far they had come. Nature Cure products were now sold in 3,000 stores across America, with international expansion just beginning. That evening at home, a spacious 4-bedroom house in a good school district, Maya prepared dinner while the girls did homework at the kitchen table. "Mom, listen to this," Rose said, looking up from her tablet. "Nature Cure's revenue grew by 32% last quarter. That's better than most companies on the stock market." Maya smiled. "Have you been reading financial reports again?" "It's interesting," Rose shrugged. "Numbers tell stories." "Mom!" Lily called from the living room. "Come quick!" "Look what I found." Maya hurried in to find Lily pointing at a shopping website on her laptop. "Healing Wonder Cream," Lily read. "It looks exactly like our advanced healing formula. Even the jar is similar." Maya examined the screen. The product was indeed remarkably similar to their bestseller, even using phrases from Nature Cure's marketing materials. "This is a direct copy," Maya said, immediately calling Jennifer. 3 weeks later, Maya sat in a courtroom as the judge ruled in Nature Cure's favor, ordering the competitor to cease production and pay substantial damages for patent infringement. $2 million in damages, Jennifer said as they left the courthouse. "What will you do with it?" "Build a proper research facility," Maya answered without hesitation. "We need more space for development and testing." 6 months later, construction began on the Nature Cure Research Center, a state-of-the-art facility where scientists would work to develop new plant-based medicines. Despite her growing success, Maya maintained one firm rule: dinner with her daughters every night, no matter how busy work became. These dinners often included conversations about their day, their dreams, and occasionally their questions about their past. One evening, Violet asked the question Maya had been expecting for years. "Mom, Kelsey at school said everyone has a dad. Where is ours?" Maya put down her fork and looked at her 3 daughters. "That's a fair question. Yes, you have a biological father." "Who is he?" Rose asked directly. "He was someone I dated when I worked as a gardener. When I told him I was pregnant, he wasn't ready to be a father." Maya chose her words carefully. "He gave me money to leave Seattle and start over somewhere else." "He didn't want us?" Lily's scientific mind searched for clarity. "He didn't want the responsibility," Maya explained. "Some people aren't prepared for big life changes." "Do we look like him?" Violet wondered. Maya smiled softly. "You all have his eyes, and Lily, you have his height." "Will we ever meet him?" Rose asked. "That would be your choice when you're older," Maya said. "I won't keep you from knowing him if you want to, but he hasn't been part of our lives all these years." The girls seemed satisfied with this explanation for now. After dinner, Maya suggested a drive. "There's somewhere I want to show you." She drove them to an exclusive neighborhood where large houses sat behind iron gates. Stopping across from a particular estate, Maya pointed. That's where I used to work as the head gardener, the Thompson estate. It's huge, Violet exclaimed. Is that where you met our father? Lily asked, always connecting dots. Maya nodded. Yes, and in a hidden corner of that garden, I grew the first special plants that became the foundation of our company. Can we go inside? Rose asked. No, different people own it now, but I wanted you to see where our story began. Maya looked at the mansion, remembering how she had once lived in the small staff quarters behind it. From that garden came everything we have now. As they drove home, Maya glanced at her daughters in the rearview mirror. In 10 years, they had gone from a homeless pregnant woman and unborn triplets to a successful CEO and 3 brilliant girls with bright futures. The journey wasn't over. In fact, it was just beginning, but Maya felt proud of how far they had come. What she didn't know was that in a few years, their path would cross with Blake Thompson's again, in a way that would change all their lives forever. 6 more years transformed Nature Cure Botanicals beyond even Maya's ambitious dreams. On a bright Tuesday morning, Maya Johnson strode through Nature Cure's gleaming headquarters, stopping to greet employees by name. At 41, she commanded respect not just with her title as CEO, but with her presence, confident, thoughtful, and approachable. The quarterly reports are ready for review, Ms. Johnson, her assistant said, handing her a tablet as they walked toward the conference room. Thank you, David. Is everyone here for the meeting? Yes. The board is waiting, and your daughter Rose asked to join. Maya smiled. At 16, Rose already showed remarkable business acumen, often sitting in on important meetings to observe and learn. Inside the conference room, 12 board members rose as Maya entered. Rose sat quietly in a corner, her notebook open. Good morning, Maya began. Let's review our third quarter performance. The chief financial officer displayed a presentation. Nature Cure has exceeded projections by 27%. Our market valuation now stands at $12 billion. The new pain management line is our most successful product launch to date. After the meeting, Maya returned to her office, a spacious corner suite with views of the Seattle skyline. 3 framed photographs dominated her desk, Lily in a lab coat, Rose receiving a Young Entrepreneur Award, and Violet speaking at a school event. Her phone rang. Ms. Johnson, your daughter Lily is calling from the research center. Put her through. Mom, Lily's excited voice filled the line. The new compound worked. The anti-inflammatory response is 40% stronger than our current formula, with 0 side effects in initial testing. That's wonderful news, Maya said proudly. At 16, Lily already worked part-time in Nature Cure's research lab, her scientific mind constantly pushing their products forward. Dr. Williams says we can move to the next testing phase immediately, Lily continued. This could be huge for arthritis treatment. After hanging up, Maya opened her email to find a message from Violet with the subject line, Social Media Campaign Results. She clicked to find a detailed report showing how Violet's latest social media strategy had increased online engagement by 38%. Maya's youngest daughter by 12 minutes had a natural gift for communication and marketing. Maya's private line rang again. Maya Johnson, she answered. Maya, it's Jennifer. I have some interesting information. Jennifer Adams was still Nature Cure's lead attorney. Remember you asked me to keep an eye on Thompson Technologies? Maya's breath caught slightly. She hadn't spoken Blake Thompson's name aloud in years, but she had quietly monitored his company. What about them? Maya asked. They're in serious trouble. Their last 3 product launches failed. Stock is down 62%. There are rumors they're looking for buyers. Send me the financial reports, Maya said. An hour later, Maya studied the documents Jennifer had sent. Thompson Technologies, once valued at over $1 billion, was now struggling to stay afloat. Blake had made a series of poor business decisions, chasing trends rather than developing solid products. Maya called her financial team for an emergency meeting. "I want your analysis of a potential acquisition," she told them. "Thompson Technologies." "The software company?" her chief financial officer asked, surprised. "That's outside our core business." "Their technology could enhance our patient tracking systems," Maya explained, "and their market position is weakened. We could acquire controlling interest at a favorable price." After 2 hours of discussion, the financial team agreed the acquisition made strategic sense. Their software platforms would integrate well with our healthcare products, the CFO concluded, and at current stock prices, we could obtain controlling interest for less than we budgeted for our European expansion. That evening, Maya called a private board meeting to propose the acquisition. She presented the business case carefully, never mentioning her personal history with Blake Thompson. "This acquisition aligns with our 5-year growth strategy," she concluded. "I recommend we proceed." The board voted unanimously to approve. Later that night, at home in her 12-bedroom mansion overlooking Lake Washington, Maya sat with her daughters in their family room. Despite their wealth, she had raised them to be grounded and hard-working. All 3 attended the city's most prestigious private school, but also held responsibilities at Nature Cure. "Mom, you seem distracted," Violet observed, always sensitive to emotions. "Just thinking about a business decision," Maya replied. "We're acquiring a technology company." "Thompson Technologies?" Rose asked, surprising Maya. "How did you know that?" Rose shrugged. "I saw the financial reports on your desk. Their software architecture is impressive, but their management has made poor strategic choices." "Always the analyst," Maya smiled. "Isn't Thompson the name of the estate you showed us years ago?" Lily asked, her memory precise as always. "Where you worked as a gardener?" Maya nodded slowly. "Yes. Blake Thompson owns the company we're acquiring." The girls exchanged glances. "Is he—" Violet started carefully. "Your biological father?" "Yes." A moment of silence fell over the room. "Does he know about us?" Lily finally asked. He never wanted to know." "Will you tell him now, with the acquisition?" Rose's question was practical, business-focused. "I don't know," Maya admitted. "It hasn't been relevant to our lives for 16 years. The conversation was interrupted by Maya's phone. It was her assistant. "Ms. Johnson, sorry to call so late. You've been invited to be the keynote speaker at the Future of Medicine Gala next month. The committee specifically requested you. They're announcing the Innovator of the Year award, and you're the recipient." "The Future of Medicine Gala?" Maya repeated. "That's the most prestigious medical event of the year." "Yes. They want you to speak about Nature Cure's vision for plant-based treatments. The governor will be there, along with the top medical researchers and healthcare executives in the country." After hanging up, Maya shared the news with her daughters. "We should all go," Rose suggested. "It's a big honor." "Can we get new dresses?" Violet asked excitedly. "Of course," Maya laughed. "We'll make it a family event." What Maya didn't know was that Blake Thompson had also received an invitation to the gala. His company desperately needed new investors, and the event would be filled with potential financial partners. Neither Maya nor Blake had any idea they would soon come face-to-face for the first time in 16 years. As Maya helped her daughters plan for the gala, discussing dresses and Maya's keynote speech, she felt a strange sense of things coming full circle. From a pregnant gardener with nothing to her name, she had become one of the most powerful women in business. And now, through a twist of fate, she was about to become Blake Thompson's boss. The night of the Future of Medicine Gala arrived. Maya stood in the entrance of her home watching her daughters descend the grand staircase in their formal dresses. Lily wore a classic white gown, Rose chose deep red, and Violet sparkled in purple. At 16, all 3 had grown into poised young women who turned heads wherever they went. "You all look beautiful," Maya said, her throat tight with emotion. "So do you, Mom," Violet replied, admiring Maya's emerald green dress. Their driver held the door as they entered the limousine. Maya reviewed her speech notes one final time during the ride to the Fairmont Olympic Hotel, Seattle's most prestigious venue. "Are you nervous?" Lily asked. "A little," Maya admitted. "There will be over 500 important people there tonight." "You'll be amazing," Rose assured her. "Your speech is perfect." The limousine pulled up to the red carpet entrance. Photographers called Maya's name as she emerged with her daughters. Camera flashes lit up their faces. "Ms. Johnson, look this way!" "Maya, who designed your dress?" "Are these your daughters?" Inside the grand ballroom, crystal chandeliers hung from high ceilings. Tables draped in white linen surrounded a central stage. The city's elite mingled, holding champagne glasses and exchanging business cards. Near the bar, Blake Thompson stood alone, nursing a scotch. At 51, his dark hair now held streaks of gray, and lines had formed around his eyes. His once successful company was failing, and he desperately needed investors. "Blake Thompson?" A man approached him. "Haven't seen you at these events lately." "Been busy," Blake lied, forcing a smile. "Who's speaking tonight?" "Maya Johnson from Nature Cure Botanicals. She's receiving the Innovator Award. Her company is revolutionizing medicine with plant-based treatments." Blake nodded, not connecting the name to his past. At 8 o'clock, the lights dimmed. The event chairman approached the podium. "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our keynote speaker and this year's Medical Innovator recipient, the founder and CEO of Nature Cure Botanicals, Maya Johnson." Applause filled the room as Maya walked confidently to the stage. Blake froze mid-sip, his champagne glass nearly slipping from his fingers. "It can't be," he whispered. On stage, Maya began her speech with poise and authority. "Nature holds secrets that science is only beginning to understand," she said. 16 years ago, I started Nature Cure with a few plants and a dream to help people heal naturally." Blake stared in disbelief. The gardener he had paid to disappear was now one of the most successful CEOs in America. "Today, I'm proud to announce Nature Cure's newest breakthrough," Maya continued. "A revolutionary treatment that reduces inflammation by 60% with zero side effects. This will change lives for millions suffering from chronic pain and autoimmune conditions." The audience erupted in applause. Maya smiled, acknowledging their response with a gracious nod. "Thank you for this honor," she concluded. "Nature Cure's mission continues, healing humanity through the power of plants." As Maya left the stage, people surrounded her with congratulations. Blake pushed through the crowd, spilling his drink in his hurry. "Maya?" he called. "Maya Johnson?" She turned, her expression freezing momentarily before recovering with perfect composure. "Blake Thompson," she said coolly. "It's been a while." He stared at her, struggling to connect the confident woman before him with the tearful gardener from his past. You're the founder of Nature Cure. The same Maya who used to work in my garden?" "The very same." Her voice was calm, professional. "I had no idea," he said. "Your company is worth billions now. You're famous." Before Maya could respond, 3 striking young women joined her side. Blake's eyes widened as he noticed familiar features in their faces, his mother's distinctive chin, his grandfather's height, and most shockingly, his own eyes looking back at him. "Mom, they want you for photos now," Lily said, her analytical gaze assessing Blake curiously. "Mom?" Blake repeated, his face draining of color. "Yes," Maya said. "Blake, these are my daughters, Lily, Rose, and Violet. Girls, this is Mr. Thompson, an old acquaintance." Your daughters look about 16, Blake stammered, mental calculations racing through his mind. 16 next month, Maya confirmed. Lily studied him with intelligent eyes. "You look familiar. Have we met before?" The crowd around them had grown quiet, sensing tension. Photographers snapped pictures, capturing the moment. They're mine, aren't they?" Blake whispered, his voice cracking. Maya's voice carried clearly in the hushed room. "Biologically speaking, yes. In every way that matters, no. They're mine." "The daughters you paid me to disappear with!" Gasps rippled through the onlookers. Blake reached toward one of the girls, who stepped back instinctively. "I didn't know there were 3, he said weakly. "Would it have made a difference?" Maya asked. Blake had no answer. He stood speechless, looking from Maya to the 3 girls who shared his features. "Oh, and Blake?" Maya added, her voice perfectly controlled. "The board approved my acquisition this morning. NatureCure now owns controlling interest in Thompson Technologies." More gasps and whispers spread through the crowd. Camera flashes intensified. "You bought my company?" Blake seemed unable to process this final revelation. "Yes, it made good business sense." Maya placed a protective arm around Violet, who looked uncomfortable with the attention. "If you'll excuse us, we have an award to accept." As Maya guided her daughters away, Blake remained frozen in place, watching the family he never knew walk confidently through the crowd that parted for them. "That's our biological father?" Rose whispered to her mother. "Yes," Maya answered softly. "But he's not your dad. He never was." Across the room, Blake Thompson sank into a chair, his world upended for the second time by the same woman. 16 years ago, he had written a check to make a problem disappear. Now that problem owned his company and had returned to his life as 3 brilliant young women and their billionaire mother. Camera flashes captured the moment and whispers spread through the ballroom while Maya stood tall, surrounded by her daughters. The man who had once considered her beneath him now stood alone, realizing he had thrown away the greatest fortune of his life, and it wasn't the billions of dollars. By morning, the confrontation between Maya and Blake had exploded across every news outlet. Maya woke to her phone buzzing constantly with notifications. She turned on the television in her bedroom to see her own face staring back at her on Good Morning America. "Breaking business news today," the anchor announced. "Social media is buzzing about last night's dramatic confrontation between 2 CEOs. Maya Johnson, founder of NatureCure Botanicals, revealed that her 16-year-old triplet daughters are the biological children of Blake Thompson, founder of Thompson Technologies. Adding to the drama, Johnson announced her company has acquired controlling interest in Thompson's struggling firm. Our business correspondent has more on this developing story." Maya muted the TV as Violet knocked and entered her room looking worried. "Mom, there are reporters outside our gate," she said. "Lots of them." "I expected that," Maya replied calmly. "We won't be going to school today. I've already called the principal." Downstairs, Lily and Rose were huddled over Rose's tablet, reading news articles. "They're calling it the ultimate business revenge story," Rose reported. "NatureCure's stock is up 12% already this morning." "It's not about revenge," Maya said, joining them in the kitchen. "It was a sound business decision." "That's not how the public sees it," Lily observed. "They love the story of the rejected gardener becoming a billionaire and buying her ex's company." Maya's phone rang. It was Jennifer Adams. "Maya, the Thompson Technologies board is calling an emergency meeting at 11 o'clock. As majority shareholder, you should be there." "I'll be there," Maya confirmed. At 10:45, Maya's car pulled up to Thompson Technologies headquarters. Reporters swarmed around her vehicle, shouting questions. "Ms. Johnson, did you buy the company for revenge? Maya, will you fire Blake Thompson? Did Blake know about his daughters all these years?" Maya walked through the crowd with her head high, not answering any questions. Jennifer met her in the lobby. "Blake has been trying to convince the board members to block the acquisition," Jennifer explained as they walked toward the boardroom. "He's desperate." Inside the wood-paneled boardroom, 12 board members sat around a long table. Blake stood at the head, mid-sentence, when Maya entered. He stopped speaking immediately. "Ms. Johnson," the board chairman said, standing to greet her, "thank you for joining us." "Thank you for having me," Maya replied professionally. "I understand there are concerns about the acquisition." Blake was just explaining why he believes the sale should be reversed, the chairman said. The stock purchase wasn't properly disclosed, Blake argued, his voice strained. And there are conflict of interest issues. Jennifer stepped forward. All securities laws were properly followed. The purchase was made through normal market channels with full disclosure to the SEC. There is no legal basis to reverse it. The board members exchanged glances. One woman spoke up. Mr. Thompson, given the company's financial situation, I believe this acquisition actually saves Thompson Technologies from bankruptcy. NatureCure is financially strong and has promised to keep our core business intact. Maya addressed the board directly. I have no intention of dismantling Thompson Technologies. Your software platforms complement our healthcare products perfectly. However, she paused, looking at Blake, we will be rebranding the company and making leadership changes. You're firing me, Blake said flatly. No, Maya replied. I'm offering you a position as senior advisor. You'll report directly to me. Blake's face flushed with humiliation. The room fell silent as board members averted their eyes. This meeting is adjourned, the chairman finally said. The acquisition will proceed as planned. As everyone filed out, Blake approached Maya. We need to talk, privately. My office, 15 minutes, Maya replied. In her car, Maya called home to check on her daughters. We're fine, Mom, Rose assured her. The security team is keeping reporters away from the house. I'm meeting with Blake now, Maya told her. He wants to talk. Be careful, Rose said protectively. At NatureCure headquarters, Maya found Blake waiting outside her office. Her assistant looked relieved to see her. He's been here for 20 minutes, David whispered. He wouldn't sit down. Maya opened her office door. Come in, Blake. Once inside, Blake seemed to deflate, sinking into a chair across from her desk. You've done well for yourself, he said, looking around the impressive office. What do you want to talk about? Maya asked directly. I was wrong, Blake began. 16 years ago, I was young, selfish, and afraid. But I've changed. I want to know my daughters. Maya studied him silently. Maybe we could try again? He continued. We had something once. What we had, Maya replied evenly, was a relationship where you were ashamed of me, where you valued your image over the life we created together. I'll do anything, Blake pleaded. I've lost everything else. At least let me know my children. That's just it, Blake. There's nothing to do. I don't hate you. I don't love you. I feel nothing for you. You're a stranger to me and my daughters. Our daughters, he corrected desperately. Number you surrendered that right with a check for $20,000. Maya's voice remained calm. My girls have had 16 years of bedtime stories, school projects, illness, laughter, and growth. You missed it all by choice. Blake's shoulders slumped. What happens now? Now, you can stay on at Thompson Technologies as we discussed. The board values your institutional knowledge. But understand this. I didn't buy your company for revenge. I bought it because it made good business sense. That evening, Maya returned home to find her daughters waiting anxiously. How did it go? Violet asked. As expected, Maya replied. He wants to meet you. The girls exchanged glances. I think you should know everything, Maya continued. She went to her office and returned with an old envelope. From it, she pulled a check. This is the check Blake wrote me 16 years ago. $20,000 to disappear from his life. I never cashed it. The girls stared at the check, tangible evidence of their beginning. It's your decision whether you want to meet him, Maya said. I won't stand in your way, but I won't force you either. Lily spoke first. I'm curious from a scientific perspective, genetics and all that. I want to understand the business implications, Rose added practically. Violet looked angry. He threw us away. He treated you terribly. Your feelings are all valid, Maya assured them. Take time to think about it. After dinner, the girls announced their decision. We'll meet him once, Lily said. Together, not separately. At a restaurant, not his house or office, Rose added. And you have to be there too, Mom, Violet insisted. Maya nodded. I'll arrange it. As she prepared for bed that night, Maya glanced at the television where Blake's face appeared on a news program. He was giving an interview, attempting to control the narrative. It was a shock to discover I have 3 wonderful daughters, he told the reporter. I'm looking forward to getting to know them and building a relationship with them. This is a family reunion, not a corporate takeover. Maya turned off the TV, knowing the truth was far more complicated. Blake wanted to rewrite history, to paint himself as a father eager to reconnect with long-lost children. But 16 years couldn't be erased with a television interview or convenient new emotions. The daughters Blake had once paid to make disappear were now at the center of a media storm, and their first real meeting with their biological father would soon close this chapter of their lives forever. The private dining room at Riverside Restaurant was set with a table for 5. Maya arrived with her daughters 15 minutes early to prepare themselves emotionally for the meeting. Remember, you don't owe him anything, Maya told them. You can leave anytime you want. Lily adjusted her glasses. We'll be fine, Mom. He's just a person who shares our DNA, Rose said practically. Violet squeezed her mother's hand. We're doing this for us, not for him. At exactly 7 o'clock, Blake Thompson entered the room carrying 3 wrapped gift boxes. He wore an expensive suit and a nervous smile. Thank you for coming, he said, looking at the girls with wonder. I can't believe I'm finally meeting you. An awkward silence filled the room until Maya gestured to the table. Let's sit down. Blake placed the wrapped gifts in front of each girl. I brought you something. I hope you like them. The triplets exchanged glances before carefully unwrapping the presents. Lily received an expensive microscope. Rose got a calculator watch, and Violet opened a box containing a designer scarf. Thank you, they said politely, though Maya noticed the gifts missed their marks. Lily already had a professional-grade microscope at the Nature Cure lab. Rose used advanced financial software that made a calculator watch seem childish. And Violet's artistic taste was much more colorful than the conservative scarf Blake had chosen. I wasn't sure what you liked, Blake admitted. We have a lot of catching up to do. 16 years, Rose stated directly. Blake shifted uncomfortably. When I was your age, I was already running my first software company. We developed programs for accounting firms that grew into Thompson Technologies. He continued talking about his business successes, clearly trying to impress them. Lily interrupted with a direct question. What's your understanding of how Nature Cure's plant compounds work at a molecular level? Blake looked surprised. I'm not sure. That's not my field. I'm developing a new extraction method that increases potency by 27%, Lily continued. I'd be interested in your thoughts on the science. I'm more of a business person, Blake admitted. Rose jumped in. Speaking of business, why did Thompson Technologies fail to diversify its product offerings when cloud computing became the industry standard 5 years ago? Blake's confident facade cracked slightly. We had internal disagreements about direction. You mean you made poor strategic choices? Rose clarified. Violet, who had been quiet, finally spoke. Do you know our birthdays? Our favorite colors? What we want to study in college? I'd like to learn those things, Blake said weakly. Why did you think $20,000 was enough to make us disappear? Violet asked, her voice steady despite the difficult question. Blake looked at Maya helplessly. Your daughters have questions, Maya said calmly. They deserve honest answers. Blake sighed. I was focused on my career. A pregnant girlfriend didn't fit into my plans. I thought money would solve the problem. He looked at the triplets. If I had known about you, really known you, maybe things would have been different. You didn't want to know, Lily pointed out. The dinner continued with uncomfortable conversation. Blake tried repeatedly to establish connections, but his efforts felt forced and superficial. As dessert was served, Blake turned to Maya. "I've been thinking about us, Maya, about what we had. Maybe we could try again? We're both successful now. We could be a real family." The triplets instantly became protective. "Our mother deserves better than someone who threw her away," Rose said sharply. "You had your chance," Violet added. 16 years ago. "Mom built an entire life without you," Lily stated. "She doesn't need you now." Maya remained calm. "My daughters are right, Blake. There is no us to try again." After an hour, the girls thanked Blake politely for dinner, but made it clear they didn't need or want a father figure in their lives now. "We should go," Maya said, gathering her purse. "Girls, would you wait for me in the car? I need a moment with Blake." When they were alone, Blake looked defeated. "They hate me." "They don't hate you," Maya corrected. "They simply don't know you, and they're protective of me. What should I do now?" "That's up to you. But understand this, if you want any relationship with them, it must be on their terms, not yours." 3 days later, Blake appeared on National Morning Today, a popular news program. "It was an emotional reunion," he told the interviewer. "Finding out I have 3 amazing daughters has changed my perspective on everything. I'm hoping to build a relationship with them and make up for lost time." The public reaction was swift and negative. Social media filled with comments supporting Maya and criticizing Blake's attempt to rewrite history. 1 week later, NatureCure announced that Thomson Technologies would be renamed InnovaCare Systems and integrated into NatureCure's healthcare division. The press release stated that many jobs would be saved through the restructuring. 3 months passed. Maya worked tirelessly to integrate the two companies, focusing on creating new healthcare technology that complemented NatureCure's healing products. One afternoon, David knocked on Maya's office door. "Ms. Johnson, Blake Thompson is here to see you. He doesn't have an appointment." Maya sighed. "Send him in." Blake entered, looking different than she remembered. The arrogance was gone from his posture. He seemed smaller somehow, humbled. "Thank you for seeing me," he said. "I won't take much of your time." "What do you need, Blake?" "Nothing. I came to say goodbye. I'm leaving Seattle, moving to Boston to be near my sister." Maya nodded, waiting for him to continue. "I treated you terribly," Blake admitted. "I've lost so much by being the person I was, my company, my reputation, and the chance to know 3 amazing daughters." "Yes," Maya agreed simply. "Is there any chance, any possibility, that someday I might be part of their lives, even in a small way?" Maya studied him thoughtfully. "That's not for me to say. It's their choice. They're almost adults now. And you? Do you hate me for what I did?" "I don't hate you, Blake. I don't love you. I feel nothing for you. You're part of a past that led me here, that's all." Blake nodded, accepting her words. "I understand. Thank you for seeing me." As he walked toward the door, he passed a wall lined with photographs. Pictures of the triplets as babies, as toddlers learning to walk, at their first day of school, winning science fairs, playing sports, celebrating birthdays. 16 years of moments he had missed. He paused, looking at them one by one. "They really are extraordinary," he said quietly. "Yes, they are." After Blake left, Maya sat at her desk, feeling a strange sense of closure. The confrontation she had imagined for years had happened, but it hadn't brought the satisfaction she once thought it would. Instead, it had simply freed her from the past. That evening, Maya took her daughters to a small community garden in a quiet Seattle neighborhood. "This is where my grandmother first taught me about plants," she explained, leading them to an empty plot. "I was 5 years old. She showed me how to prepare soil, plant seeds, and care for growing things." "Your grandmother started everything," Lily said thoughtfully. Maya nodded, opening a small bag of seeds. "I thought we could plant something here together, to honor where we came from and celebrate where we're going." The 4 women knelt in the dirt, digging small holes and carefully placing seeds inside. "Mom," Violet asked as they worked. "Are you okay? After everything with Blake?" "I'm more than okay," Maya answered honestly. "I realized something important today. Our story was never about him. It was always about us, what we built together." "Us and your grandmother's plants," Rose added with a smile. "Exactly." Maya looked at her 3 beautiful daughters, now almost women, planting seeds in the same soil where she had first learned to nurture growth. In the community garden, as the setting sun painted the sky orange and gold, Maya watched her brilliant daughters working together, knowing that from the $20,000 check meant to erase them, they had built not just a billion-dollar empire, but something far more valuable, a family that couldn't be bought or sold at any price.